And within the university system, no, I must place the unions in proper pathway for people to understand.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm DEJI360. Now, everyone knows corruption is a big headache in Nigeria and that it remains the biggest singular hindrance to Nigeria achieving its true potential. But the problem is just how do you deal with the problem? There's no question at all that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari seems determined to wage a serious war on corruption. At least that is clear from what we have seen of the government so far. But some, especially the opposition People's Democratic Party, say the president's anti-corruption stance is far from serious and very selective, and that the president's seeming strong-handed approach is not democratic. Well, if the president was looking for some kind of support to push ahead in the fight against corruption, he got it last Thursday when labor unions and civil society groups staged a nationwide rally to drum up support for the president's anti-corruption crusade. Now, not only are they backing the anti-corruption war, they are also asking that capital punishment be applied on anyone found guilty of corruption. Basically, by capital punishment now, we mean the death penalty. And as you're aware, in India and places like China, the death penalty is actually applied on corruption cases. But governors in Nigeria say their position is too harsh. Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, and River State Governor Nyesom Wike both kicked against the suggestion that government officials found guilty of stealing the nation's treasury should be sentenced to death. Now, Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko, who spoke through his Information Commissioner Kayode Akimade, said due process must be followed if Nigerians agree that the death penalty is what should be meted out on corrupt officials. Now, Governor Ebukule Amosun of Ogun State called for life imprisonment for any public office holder convicted of corruption. But President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, said the NLC was in support of whatever would address the issue of corruption in the country, including death sentence, as corruption had badly damaged the core of the country's national existence.
Corruption in Nigeria takes many forms, starting from embezzlement, bribery, rituals, rigging of elections, and so on. In fact, corruption is mostly pronounced in the Nigerian political system and public sector. The belief is that once a person occupies any position, be it the smallest, they will use corrupt practices to enrich themselves. We are saying no to this. The negative effect of corruption. One, corruption has created a very bad image for this country and its citizens, as Nigerians are viewed as corrupt and dubious people outside. Two, corruption prevents the provision of basic social amenities for the citizenry. The money meant for development is often pocketed by a few, thereby making good governance impossible. It has affected all the sectors: health, education, petroleum, power, agriculture, transport, goods and services, and manufacturing. Non-payment of worker salaries has been attributed to corrupt practices of state governors who has gone into heavy borrowing from the banks to carry out huge projects they clearly have no capacity for, and use them as conduit pipes to siphon public funds into their personal pocket. Some use the money meant for state to campaign for re-election. Yes.
Now we have a president that is willing and determined to bring into reality what we have always been agitating for. That is why we are here to present our letter through the governor of Lagos State to the president. The message is very simple. What we have always agitated for is now coming to reality. Anybody, either in government or any other place, that is willing to come against that fight, to deliver the Nigerian people from exploitation. That person, either in government or any other place, is indirectly and directly at the same time declaring war against the Nigerian people. And what that means is that declared war against the Nigerian people, we are willing, we are going to fight that person. We have always passed this message, and now the reality we see it.
We thank you most sincerely. We appreciate you and all the things you have been doing. We must thank you immensely for the support you have given President Buhari. This is what Nigerians need. You are the leaders. You are the opinion holders. Without you setting agenda, there is no way by which the country can progress. So we really appreciate you. And God will continue to bless you. Amen. All the messages you have brought on this anti-corruption crusade, it must be delivered to President Buhari. The governor said, I should assure you that all your messages will be delivered. And it takes you it takes you as very important partners in the progress. And he's also seeking your support for all the things that President Buhari and the other state governors are doing. We are available. So for whatever input you may wish to offer, his doors are always open to you.
Joining me to discuss this issue further is the Lagos State Chairman of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, Comrade Buna Olaiton Isiak. Comrade, thank you very much for joining us on the program. I know you took part in that rally yesterday. I know you took part in that rally that took place on Thursday, I should say. Give us your take on this. Don't you think the idea of the death penalty is just too strong?
Thank you, Patmos. Talking to death penalty, we actually need to consider deeply what is actually the culture and the tradition of the Nigerian society. If corruption is considered, if corruption is considered as a capital punishment, I mean as a capital offense, then I think then capital punishment should apply. But it should be too early to just consider corruption as capital offense that will attract such capital punishments like death penalty. Because if you see what that's so far for a very long time, for a very long time, our socio-economic situation has been so bastardized that the mentality of average Nigerian people is actually not being able to divine what is actually corruption. At times they see corruption as just a normal way of life. You see people in their working place and co. You see doing. I mean, even to a proverb saying they have this proverb that "bitatin shelatin je," as Yoruba will say, which means you eat where you work. They don't really understand what is it you have to eat, and this is actually due to a long time abdication of the government responsibilities to the provisions of Chapter 2 of Nigerian Constitution, Section 16, among others, 14 and co. So, failure of the government and the part of the government to take care of the social-economic situation of average Nigerians. So, and it's just normal. Just normal, you see because naturally, and that is why in the left we have always been calling for a revolution for a long time, because we want a social system. Nigeria operates a capitalist system of governance.
Let me just interrupt there. Is it not out of place for a group like yours, the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights? I mean, just imagine your committee, you defend human rights. Is it not out of place for a group like yours, the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, to be calling for the death penalty in the case of corruption?
We have not called for death penalty. I'm just divining it. We need to get the bastardized mentality of average Nigerian people to recognize penalty and the detriment that it has brought to the present generation and the future. So for some, we need to do a considerable campaign for now. Meanwhile, we wouldn't just let corrupt elements to go scot-free. They must be penalized, but not death penalty for now. yes, they must be penalized. There must be certain penalties to scare people away. So within some times we get ripe to where people will now see that yes, this person deserves to be killed because of stealing from the majority wealth of the people. So I haven't recognized.
Now, what do you make of President Muhammadu Buhari's anti-corruption campaign? Because we've had people from the opposition come out to say, look, he's just been too high-handed.
Yeah, you see, we just, I can say that the present stance of the president of Nigeria is making us to reconsider our determination to a revolution in Nigeria. Why the call for the revolution in the first instance is because of the continuous exploitation and oppression of the marginalized Nigerian citizens. But this president has actually come. He is now on board and saying that he belongs to nobody. So he's actually dissociating himself from the clique, the ruling class that have always exploited and oppressed the Nigerian masses, for whom we have always been seeking total emancipation. So we just seen somebody, after a long time agitation, that is singing the same song with us. So we don't see him as members of the capitalist bourgeois ruling class. So we see him as somebody that is actually there to bring into manifestation all our agitations. So definitely we are reconsidering our campaign for revolution, rather to give him necessary cooperation. We must size him to actually establish that really is sincere, and so far the little we have seen certain considerable level of sincerity. So we must give him all necessary support, and that is the basis of our going out on the streets. We were at the governor's office. Our message was very simple, that we have somebody that is now playing the script of the civil society, the revolutionary civil society for that matter, not the government part that used to be there. The revolutionaries, somebody that is playing a script. So if anybody, either in government or any clique wherever, is now coming out to oppose the anti-corruption campaign, the anti-corruption war of the President Muhammadu Buhari, the person is indirectly declaring war between the clique and the Nigerian people that we believe President Muhammadu Buhari is now working for. So that is just, it's very simple.
All right, Konibuna Olaitan Isiak, thank you very much for joining us on the program, and thank you very much for your thoughts.
You're welcome, sir.
We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion. This time we'll be speaking with a professor of international law who would be speaking on Buhari's 100 days in office. And of course, he would also be speaking on the anti-corruption war of the current administration. Stay with us, don't go away. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ, if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.